So then what we have to do is the don't answer. So we gave an answer. People didn't like it. So, okay, let's look at what they postulate. And so he says that there's a couple problems with how this current evolutionary picture of morality is. And the first one is that objective moral standards would perform no explanatory work when it comes to our moral beliefs.
Right. So they don't help us in terms of explaining why we behave the way we do. Right. That is, even if they are objective, it doesn't make any difference because we have a different explanation, which is the evolutionary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The very fact that a God explanation exists kind of denotes that, well, okay, if it's out there, if it's objective, we don't really know about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so evolution doesn't help us with regard to, that explanation he's suggesting.
Mm-hmm. So the second problem is, I think the really punch in the gut here is that with the evolutionary account is that our moral beliefs evolved. That's what happened. If these beliefs have evolved, might not they continue to do so as humans adapt to different environments? It seems the height of arrogance, or at least an impressive lack of imagination, to think that we've arrived at a final internal ethical code.
This is it, right?
Right. So, back in the day...
Doesn't get any better than this.
Back in the day, we killed each other in our tribes, and now we call them cities, and we just sue each other. Yeah. So, is this the best it's gotten, or will we, as we've seen in 100 different dystopian movies, will we set up a game show where we pit people against each other in order to fight to the death, in order to gain the prize, or whatever. And
entertain the masses.
It's good. The circus is there, or the idea that slavery, we however collectively you want to take that, viewed slavery as a good thing, and then we evolved out of it, whatever that means. Right. We just suddenly viewed it as not good. Why? Well, because our evolution, I guess, has caused us to make us believe that this will help us to survive more. I don't know. I don't know the explanation other than, it hurts people, and therefore you add more people to your tribe that will want to help you, maybe something along those lines. But could we ever evolve backwards and say, well, it was fine when the population of the world was 7 billion, but once it reached 10 billion, we kind of had to go back to slavery because we were running out of jobs and we needed to stick people in smaller menial ones, and we couldn't really pay them because of how many people there were. So,
and it adds to our survival, and therefore
right, the more slaves I have, the more I survive, the more I can pass down my lineage to my children. So, or what we're always worried about now is AI overtaking us. In fact, there's a lot of people that view, and prominent scientists who I've listened to talk, say that our evolution has stopped kind of biologically. We still evolve here and there, but our big steps in evolution are our technology. So we extend our biology to our technology, and it's through this. And so then we're worried about AI taking over and automation doing away with jobs, even though we haven't really cared about that when the car came over to take out the horses, those poor horses, but yet we still have horses. So there are. It seems like if we say we're right now, well, what does that mean 100 years into the future? Because us saying we're right now is at the same principle that people in before 1850 said we're right now, and
we're correct now.
Yeah. And I think we're struggling with that as a society right now, in that by who says, by what standard are we to judge? Who are you to say that I can't do something, or I can't,
or that this now we've reached the supreme status in terms of what ethics is all about.
Right. We've come to the answer, and it's 42.
So the issue I think he's trying to get at here is really all we can say is, and we have to ask the question: has it gotten any better? Is it getting better, or is it just change?
Right.
And because if there's if it's the purpose is just for survival value, then what makes it better is survival value, right? Not that we're getting closer to the truth or that we're getting any better.
Or we're hurting less people.
Right.
None of
So
that matters.
we change. It changes so that we can survive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but who survives?
Yeah.
That, which part of us? It's like in the time machine where you have, and I always forget both the Morlocks and the good ones,
Yeah.
the ones we're supposed to identify with.
Right.
They evolved two separate species, or you have invasion of the mole people. You have the mole people who become slaves and they rise up against their masters who can't take the sunlight because they've been separated from society. So where is this division line? Because it seems like we're no longer the two tribes of prehistoric ape people that, in 2001: A Space Odyssey, find the bone and realize that they've made a tool to use for killing. At what point are we going to say then that people in the first world are more evolved than people in the third world? It seems like that would be problematic today.
Yeah,
but at what point does a delineation occur? Hauser and Singer go on to say that not only does morality evolve, but we don't need to wait for generations of biological adaptations now. We can go ahead and choose a morality that fits our current need. Which seems odd because could we have done that at another point?
Yeah.
When could we have not done that? Once we realize that we are products of evolution?
Right. So notice what they're saying. They're saying that morality is just whatever we choose.
Right. I mean, that's the big thing too. Right. Yeah. Yes. You look now. I'm talking historically, and so yes. I choose that. I really want my neighborhood to be the safest way possible, and I only want to go out and rape and pillage other communities so that I can bring it in. I want to bring Viking, belief back, and whatever you kill, you keep. Chronicles of Riddick type deal. He goes on to say that insights into the changing moral landscape have not come from religion, but from careful reflection on humanity, of what we consider a well-lived life. This is Hauser and Singer. Right. In this respect, it's important for us to be aware of the universal set of moral institutions so that we can reflect on them, and if we choose act contrary to them, we can do this without blasphemy because it's in our own nature, not God, that is the source of our own species morality. And then you just say, okay, that's what you believe.
Right. That's what you chose to do.
Yeah,
right.
But I believe different. So people come to opposite conclusions, and sometimes it's that there's no act on our survival. So times change, and so do our moral beliefs. Why do they think they'll ever stop? And what does that mean to stop? Why think they are getting closer to moral truth? We can certainly say that we like our current set of ethical standards better than our previous ones, but can we ever say that they're objectively better? Right. And here's a big one. By what standard would we measure this?
Exactly.
Or what does best mean? Or what we believe now? Is that what we're...
if you're going to make a claim about best or better, you better than what, you have to have a standard.
And the one that I see online the most when interacting with atheists or people who don't subscribe to my standard is, well, it's whatever helps the most amount of people.
That's a utilitarian.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But, in what capacity, in what form, what happens when, you have the trolley problem. Well, I step away because it doesn't add to my survival. I don't care. Other than I probably will stop getting paid for switching the tracks. According to evolutionary story, our moral beliefs are merely survival tools, not apprehending truth, eternal truth especially. It's plausible that certain currently untowed behaviors aid to our survival. Rape, aggression, xenophobia, and male promiscuity. These are not only natural, but arguably advantageous. Yet they are now offensive to us, which I think is pretty important to say. So what standard do we choose? Again, why can't I suddenly say, if I'm able to recognize my evolutionary ancestors, men were more aggressive back then and we survived, and we had nothing back then, so we should become Luddites and we should become misogynistic and we should become, flesh eaters and going out there and raping and pillaging, and that's the easiest way, because even death, we can take the Klingon stance of death in battle is honor, because you've fought valiantly for your tribe, and your children will see that and they'll become stronger warriors as opposed to you who have died in battle, kind of deal.
Yeah.
Why is that any different than I should go across the street and
the issue
bake a
is
pie?
if indeed it's just a choice, whose choice, who gets to make the choice, and I think I want to be in on that.
Right, yeah. Welcome to our society.
Yeah.
Yes. The Klingon Backlash.